Perfect. Let's do a whistle.
Vern, what's my time? Okay. Time for you landed?
Oh, look at that.
Time for you to land.
Well, good evening, guys. How you doing? Hope you enjoyed the little bit of model jet action there that I shot about 15 years ago. I can't believe it. That video was from 2005, and here it's almost 2020. And I have no idea where the time goes. I have no idea where the time goes. So anyway, we got a huge crowd here today. We got Rick and Jody, and how are you guys doing? And one other mystery person, and me. So, as usual, we're off to a little bit of a slow start, but that's kind of the way it happens with me. So, God, what do we talk about? So much going on that's distracting everybody, and politics and holiday stuff and everything else that haven't heard too much new about drone stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was the Skydio 2. I still haven't gotten my letter from them yet. I've gotten 2 letters telling me that how much they appreciate my business and how far behind they are. This is something I was expecting in November, and hopefully more towards the beginning of November, but didn't happen, and now it's past the middle of December, and the holidays are coming up. And the last letter that they sent me said that they we're going to be pushing into January on this first batch. But Jody, you went to the rally in Battle Creek last night. I watched that on television, man. How was it? It was, I think, a historic event, because it has to be the first time in history that a president, on the evening that they were voting on his impeachment, was having a campaign rally. And I was thrilled to see it. And I don't want to get too political on this channel, but most of you know how I lean. Yeah, Jody, there's a one YouTube channel called Right Side Broadcasting, and they're a private organization that works on donations and everything, and they cover the rallies in ways that the mainstream media doesn't, especially the ones that are all feeding off the pool camera, which generally, unless there's a protester they can patronize and take advantage of to make Trump look bad, they just focus on his face. But Right Side Broadcasting pans all over the venue and shows the size of the crowds, and what they didn't show. And I'll be interested to know, Jody, how long you had to wait in line to get in and how big the lines were. They said there were like 20,000 people trying to get into a 5,000 seat arena, and that's pretty traditional for his rallies. But I was in the arena 2 days before. Really, 2 days? Holy mackerel! Holy mackerel! Well, hello, Bob, Casey, and Gary. Brand Aerials, how you doing, guys? Good to see you. Hope some of you, or those on my list, got my emails with the link in it. If you want to come in and talk, I send them out, but I never know for sure if people get them until somebody pops up in the chat here. So you went at 3 a.m, Jody. Wow. I'll tell you what, they he had a rally in 2016 right here at the Melbourne airport. Uh, we'll pick this up. My old standby who has pity on me being a loner and comes in as a mercy guest, kind of like the guy that goes and talks to the fat broad at the end of the bar late at night. Gary comes in to help me out, and I appreciate it. So, Gary, welcome.
All right.
How was that analogy? Pretty good.
No politics. No politics. The Canadians can't take this. Oh man. Well,
how are you?
How's your Christmas preparations going?
Well, considering I'm a Jewish guy who lives alone,
How's your
I don't really spend an awful lot of time on Christmas decorations. If you excuse me for that.
Kids and all that stuff you gotta accommodate all people?
The kids, well, my daughter and her family live over in Tampa, which is on the other side of the state.
Yeah.
My son, who lives here, is gone over there for Christmas. At least this weekend he's going over there. But he is having a Christmas dinner at his house on Christmas Day, whenever that is. Wednesday? Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
And I will see him then. I had lunch with him today. He was up hunting. He has six of them that have, I don't know, 50 or 100 acres of hardwood forest up in Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
South of Nashville. I don't know, Murfreesboro, does that ring a bell? But I don't know. You wouldn't. I don't know if you know Tennessee or not, but
is that in America?
It's in Merca. It's in Merca. Yeah.
Merca.
Merka. Merca. It is, and they built they all built cabins up there, and hunting season, of course, is going on. So he went up for a week, and he needs to get away anyway. So he just got back on Monday from that, and he's been running like crazy all week. And I had lunch with him today, and I probably won't see him again. Probably won't see him again until dinner at his house on Christmas Day. But look, your kids, my kid, he's 49 years old. My kid, my kid who's pushing 50 already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling him old man instead of young man. Hey Ed, love my drones. How are you? Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Everybody. Yeah.
So that's my Christmas. How's your Christmas coming?
Well, today was my wife was out shopping for Christmas, so I had empty the dishwasher, shovel the snow, wrap the gifts. It's been a steady day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Sounds there. Like you're working just as hard as you usually work. It's interesting.
How did we find time to work before we retired?
I don't know, but the retired people that I know are the busiest people on the planet.
The days are full.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Otherwise you go nuts. Bob Casey, Murfreesboro is about 80 miles from him. Now, is that south of Nashville, Bob? Because I think that's where he's near. Anyway, they got a beautiful piece of hunting property up there, and the elevations go from there's about a 1,500 foot up and down topography over the property, and it's all hardwood. It's all walnuts and pecans and the six of them got together and bought it, and they're going every 5 years or so they harvest enough hardwood to pretty much pay for the property.
Oh, wow.
And it renews itself, so and it's good. It's good for them. The only problem is that the only times of the year that he he gets to go up there is in hunting season when it's cold and snowy, which it was this past week for him, at least the first day. And they go up in the middle of the summertime in July or so as a work week to work on the property. And of course, then it's 100 degrees. So, you know, if it was me, I would want to go I would want to switch it about 90 degrees. I would want to go up, you know, in like April and September and enjoy the spring and the fall weather rather than the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. But
For sure.
yeah, Bob, he
They hunt.
he took a couple deer this time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Chris Hope. How you doing? Who else did I miss? I think
Hi, Chris.
that's
Bob Casey.
that's it. Bob Casey, got Bob. Peter Carroll's in the house, and Ed, love my drones, and you know, the usual suspects.
Now, when I was young, my dad used to take me hunting, and the only thing we ever went for was birds. You know?
Really?
Yeah, partridge and pheasant and that kind of stuff, you know. But I don't know that there were probably were deer around, but we just never saw them. But yeah, we were birders.
No, they got a lot of deer and pigs. Wild boar, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got, you know, he sends me pictures every once in a while of
So I
but you know what, when he you know how kids are, you know, out of sight, out of mind when they go away. And you know, we as parents, why don't you call me more often? You know, you never call me. Why don't you? And then in thinking back to when I was his age, I didn't call my parents all that often either, you know.
no.
So I understand. I become understanding. Bob Casey says quail here mostly, and ducks, geese galore. Wow. It is pretty country. It is beautiful country up there, and they've got no utilities on this piece of property. No electric, no running water, no telephone, very limited cell phone service out there in the middle of nowhere.
That's right.
So when he says getting away from it all, they do get away from it. They've got generators, and they've got gas, and they've got solar, and they've got every which way to kind of live off the grid.
I was at a place that was out in the middle of nowhere, and on the side of the road there was a sign that said "Cell service 1 mile." And you climbed up this mountain, and you got up there, and it said "Stop here for cell service."
Really?
You stop there. Yep, I got a bar, 1 bar.
Wow. You know, we get so used to having these cell phones that
Well, you get completely.
how do you get so used to it that when you don't have a cell phone, or you know, you ever go out and you left your cell phone at home?
Oh no.
You know, I haven't very often, but I did it once, and I felt like, oh my God, it's like, you know,
What happened?
what if somebody needs to call me?
I can remember my first cell phone was in my truck, and it was mounted behind the seat, and there was a fixed antenna on the window, and it was screwed down to the console in the middle. Right? I mean, it was fixed. That was the only way. You were either in your truck or you were somewhere else with a phone. Right? They weren't portable.
Was it a cell? Was it actually cellular, or was it the old VHF phones?
No, it was cellular. It was cellular, and a little antenna with a little screwy thing that went up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I remember I had, I'm trying to remember when it was, back in I think it was the 70s. I actually had a car phone.
Yeah, that's what I had.
You know, back in the days when there was no cellular phones and you had to have a
Oh,
car phone.
yeah.
And it was a VHF phone, and it had a box in the trunk which weighed 50 pounds. and it had a head a phone head with a rotary dial
Yeah.
that got mounted next, you know, on the hump next to you, you know, in the center
Yeah.
of the front seat there, and it had four channels, 4 buttons, and it was VHF. So before you tried to make a call, you had to push the button to see if somebody was on that channel. You got to listen to. I think I told the story before. You got to listen to
Sort of like the old,
anybody that was talking, like a party line.
yeah, like the old party line.
Yeah, and it was very entertaining when you were traveling to listen to some of these people, especially the guys who were out cheating on their wives, with their girlfriends talking to them. But back in those days, it was really funny. Oh, look who's here. Chris Hope is here. Hello, Chris.
Jim Wallace.
Give you a round of applause, too. Bring you in, my friend. How
What's
you
up,
doing?
man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
He's right there.
I got beard envy here.
It's a beard, man. It's done made a life of its own. It's ain't
Oh,
got its
it's
own
not
life.
down there.
Yeah, you ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
not much.
Peter Griffin, he decided that he was going to grow a big bushy beard, and he did, and this little flock of birds decided to make its home in his beard, and he'd be walking around and a little beak would pop out.
Yeah, party a little bit. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So I wonder if you got
That's
a
like
little
a thing.
family of birds living in there.
I seen a deal on Facebook today. Somebody had put on Facebook a Christmas tree they'd went and cut out of the woods, and it had a little owl in it, a live owl.
really?
Really?
Brought it home, put lights on it and everything. There's this owl in this tree.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Cool.
My luck, it would have pecked me, wanted to bite me.
Not only that, but the Fish and Wildlife people come and arrest you for
Yeah.
harassing endangered species.
Yeah. Oh,
gotta-
yeah. It's probably
gotta
an owl that hadn't been heard of in 200 years.
Yeah. So
How's
the owl
birthday boy?
me
How's it feel to be a year and a week old now?
a year and a week now. Yeah, it's a year and 10 days actually.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but who's counting?
Quit counting.
and
to 70 is
and
what I hear.
13 hours 37 minutes 5 6 7 seconds. But who's counting?
Boy, you're only 68 subscribers away from being monetized too, eh?
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
I seen that a while ago.
And
That's a good thing, man.
listen, I've already got all the catalogs from these yacht manufacturers that are over there in Italy and in Norway. The big companies, the guys that make
Right.
the 600-700 footers. We're not
The
gonna.
Chris Craft of the Italian Navy.
Nah, no, we need to deal with some of the real big guys.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on YouTube about this. It was God, it was about a super yacht that was like 400, close to 400 feet long. Yeah, it's a third the length of a cruise ship already. And it was hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Oh, it's
But I
crazy.
figured that, by the time I get to maybe 1,500 subscribers, those checks will cover that. So
Oh,
Yeah.
It won't be a thing, but for you, you get your Patreons, you'll have monthly subscriptions, subscribers.
Oh,
people
yeah.
will start donating stuff. And
yeah,
I got my boat.
probably not.
My boat's parked in the yard. I'm too busy to put it in the water. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it in.
Well, when I had my boat, it was a big boat. And, you think when you get something like that, it's going to change your whole life. Let me stop for a second and remind me to get back to the boat story. But got Jim Above and Beyond Drones here, my good friend. We'll bring Jim in. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Look, guys.
How are you?
Jimbo. Oh, Jim looking younger. Man, I like
Oh,
it.
yeah. I overdid it with my hair dye.
On here, I thought that you were au natural
Now,
there, man.
you know something? 2 weeks ago, I used that Just for Men on my mustache because it all goes gray. Everything goes gray. So it says, just leave it on for 5 minutes. I left it on for too long. It was like black.
I thought it was just for Sharpie.
It-
Dude,
that's
was
about
dark,
what it
man.
comes out to, man. It's funny as hell.
Oh.
Yeah, Ed
like
says,
that.
"Love My Drone" says
Yeah.
about a boat, a hole in the water into which you pour money. You know that
Oh.
what is the old boat is acronym for "Bring on another 1,000."
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
When-
I was saying I had this big boat. It was a big boat. It was 53 foot.
Whoa, jeez.
Hatteras. Yeah, it was. It was a boat. It was a 53 foot Hatteras. It had twin big Detroit diesels. It had 3 staterooms, 3 heads, full gal. I mean, you could live on it. It was big enough. To
Bigger than my house.
And I had the thing over in Daytona Beach, and you think it's going to change your life when you get it. And like anything else, you use the hell out of it for a little while, and then you less and less frequently you go out there. I mean, I and then you get to the point where you go, oh shit, I got to get out there and run those motors before they turn to rust, And I owned it for about 10 years, and finally just decided I wasn't using it enough. I did enjoy it, and it was a great. It was like having a condo at the beach.
Yep.
You could go spend, and I found that when I needed to get away from the pressures and stresses of business, marriage, and all the rest, it was a great place to go.
Right.
And it was fun to take the motorcycle during Bike Week in Daytona,
Oh,
go
yeah.
for the week and just stay on the boat, and you were right there in the midst of that mayhem. I did that for a while. Got tired of that too. So,
Mitch, my father had a 24-foot lobstrake, which means wooden, boat.
yeah.
And every summer we would try and get the hell away from the house because it all had to be sanded and then red lead, and then, oh my God, what a job it was, man.
Yeah.
And then you had to teak oil everything on the inside.
And then it wasn't right when you got done.
It was nothing but work.
Those old wooden boats are tremendous, and even mine was a glass boat. Once a year you had to have the stupid thing hauled out of the water,
Yep.
have the bottom all scraped and repainted, new leads, new zincs and everywhere, and it was $5,000 for a bottom
Wow.
job.
Jesus.
And then once a month, you had to have you had to have a diver go down and scrub the bottom, because the water up there is so brackish that that this crap just starts growing on it. And if you don't have it cleaned once a month, it develops into barnacles big enough to slow you down. So the boat doesn't go struggles when it's covered with barnacles. But no, it was a maintenance. Oh, God, the oil changes in that thing. They brought you didn't just buy quarts of oil. You bought 5-gallon drums
Oh, you know what I learned
of
about?
oil.
Shear pins. I never knew about what a shear pin was until I think my father hit a rock or something while we're going down the Nissaquag River on Long Island. And all of a sudden the boat stops.
Yeah.
You know what that is, Chris?
Yeah, I do. Hey, I got to run, Mitch. I just want to stop in and
Oh.
say hello right quick, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for coming in, Chris. Good to see you.
Yeah, my
If
wife.
I'd have
my
known you
wife
were
here-
running, we would have spent more time talking to you.
Oh, that's okay. I thought my wife was going to be a little longer, but we're fixing to eat some supper.
Well, enjoy your dinner and have. Hey, listen, if I don't see you, you have a great holiday. Enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, Merry
Stay
Christmas
safe.
to y'all.
All
Y'all
right,
have Merry
buddy.
Christmas.
Same to you, Chris.
See y'all.
Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, that was nice. Drone Shot says you never hit a rock with your lawnmower. Yeah, boats are a lot of maintenance, and I look back at the amount of money that I spent owning that thing, and God, I wish I had all that money now. But you live once. That was always my philosophy,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and you can't take it with you. So you may as well enjoy it. And I probably spent a lot more money on shit that I shouldn't have, but I like airplanes and boats and crap like that. But I did those things, and that was part of the adventure. And I don't have a desire to do any of them anymore. I don't want to fly airplanes like I did. I don't want to have a big boat, because what I learned the hard way is, no matter you know how there's stupid drivers on the road that just aggravate the hell out of you all the time.
Yeah.
Well, there's stupid boaters that aggravate the hell out of you all the time when you're out there on the water. There are stupid pilots in the air that aggravate that, especially when you're trying to get into a busy airport, or people that just don't know what they're doing and are very dangerous, and you spend just as much time dodging idiots, no matter what kind of vehicle you're in.
Yeah, they don't learn the rules of the road, like red right returning and all that on the buoys.
No, or they don't know how to follow an air traffic controller's instructions correctly. They got more money. Some of these guys have enough money to own airplanes, but don't have the talent to actually fly them, and they buy airplanes way beyond their ability.
Out of the class, yeah.
And if you remember the Beech 35 Bonanza, remember that airplane? You know what that is? It had
What about-
had a
Did you
V-tail.
ever look at Piper Cubs down here in Vero?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just want. Are they still in existence, Mitch?
I don't know if they are. Not. It's been years and years and years. But I used to fly. We used to. There you go. Love my drones. Ed says V-tail Doctor Killers. That was the nickname. That's what I was about to say. The nickname. The nickname is that the Bonanza was called a forked tail Doctor Killer, because the people that they were what's called a high performance aircraft, retractable landing gear, over 200 horsepower, okay, capable of going 160, 170 miles an hour. And it makes it, for a single engine airplane, they consider that a high performance airplane. You need more training to fly those things with a variable pitch propeller, generally all equipped to fly IFR, blind through clouds.
Variable pitch propeller?
Yeah. And
How do you do that?
well, it's has hydraulics that change the pitch, and they call them variable pitch or constant speed props. And the idea is that when you're at cruise power, you set your manifold pressure and your RPM,
Right.
and the propeller maintains the RPM, even if you put the nose down, and the propeller will not speed up past that RPM, and you control
I
the
didn't even
amount
know
of power.
they
with
had
manifold
that
pressure. Yeah.
technology. I've only
Yeah,
worked on
and,
jets.
So what you have to do, for example, is one of the things on the takeoff checklist in an airplane with constant speed props, which goes up to every airplane, including turboprops, anything with a propeller that's more sophisticated than a Cessna 172. The 182s, for example, have constant speed props. The 172s don't. Is you have to make sure your prop is set to high RPM for takeoff and landing. It's just another step, another something else you have to do. It's like a gear shift almost.
Yeah.
When the propeller spins faster, it's like being in a lower gear. When you're up there cruising and you slow the RPM down, it's like shifted into a higher gear. But this is all done manually. So this Bonanza, when it first came out, was a relatively expensive airplane, and some of the biggest buyers they had were doctors. Okay, and these doctors had the money to buy the Bonanza, but they did not have the talent to fly it, and they were killing themselves left and right. And the airplane got the nickname Forktail Doctor Killer.
Now, you flew both, right, Mitch?
Flew both what?
You flew that kind, because I know the one you had showed us before. Was it much more difficult?
Well, I had a Beechcraft Baron, which is a twin engine airplane
Okay.
based on the Bonanza. It's just like a Bonanza, but it's a twin. In fact, when they first came out, I think they called it the Twin Bonanza, but then they built a 4-place version of the Baron, and then they built a 6-place version of it that had club seating, 4 seats in the back behind the pilot, and then the pilot and co-pilot, and there was a big double door on the side. And that was, I had a number of different airplanes, but that was one of my favorite airplanes. I had that airplane for close to 15 years. And it was a good 200-mile-an-hour cruise and twin engines, so you did have the security if you wanted to. So I would fly over water a lot. I would go down to Key West, go to the Bahamas, go all over the place without worrying about you know, losing a single engine. I've done a lot of crossings in single engine airplanes, and there's a pucker factor. If you could imagine, you know, you're out there in the middle of nowhere.
It's what, 90 miles?
Yeah, it's about 80 miles to like Freeport
Yeah.
from West Palm. Let me stop a second here. I see there's all kinds of people coming in. Steve Carpenter, how you doing?
Paul
Good to see
Hodges.
you and Paul.
Yeah.
Phantom Hodges drones. Paul, how are you? And that's it. And Jim Wallace is here. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, so that was I flew. That was a big part of my life, aviation, both the real thing and models. And then I got into boats. I think I was kind of one of these guys, and I don't know why, that was trying to, you know, he who dies with the most toys wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're younger.
Yeah, and I'm not like that anymore. Now
No.
my toys are little drones that don't cost a lot. Somebody had asked me what costs more, the airplane or the airplanes are probably on a par cost wise with a boat that big. A boat that big is $600 to $800 a month just for the place to dock it, and $10,000 a year to insure it.
Oh, jeez.
$5,000 a year just to do the bottom every year. Another $1,000 a month on just basic maintenance.
So
Getting it
you're
washed.
saying that my father got away with $5,000 of free labor every summer?
Well, no, doing that, a wooden boat is ridiculous. There was a couple of, back when I had it, there was a couple of big wooden boats, yachts, old Chris Crafts that they kept afloat, and they kept maintaining them, and
This was a
the
cabin
amount of work
cruiser.
on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a cabin cruiser. Yeah, but no, it was an interesting part. I had a successful business, so I was able to do it. I can't do it now. Oh, John Cuppy is here. Hiya, John. How you doing? John and I were talking about INAV on Bill Thomas's show.
Oh,
last
are
week.
you going to get a CADX Vista
A
for your
CADX
GI
Vista.
system?
You know, they're not out yet, and it's kind of just like a little air unit, but without the SD card, right? You know, it's an air unit, but you still have to use their camera, don't you?
I don't know.
I don't know if it. See, that's what I don't know. I don't know if it comes with, because that little camera theirs is $50. So if you buy the Vista unit and you have to buy the camera from DJI, you're well over $100 anyway. And I've seen the DJI Air units come and go on sale. I've seen them as low as like $129. So if that's the case, I'll buy the one with the SD card in it. It's not that much bigger. Now the Vista's a little smaller, so there, you know, for a smaller drone, there may be an advantage to that. I don't know.
John
EDR,
says
how
he
you
can't wait
doing?
to see it.
Good to see you. Oh yeah, the new CADX DJI FPV is pretty cool on paper. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And you remember last week I was talking about doing that analog mod
Yeah.
to my DJ. Well, I did it and I got it working, and I bought a cheap mod, Fat Shark type module, an AKK from Amazon for $29. Okay, or $30. And I built the thing, and I'm going to show you the goggles now. So just so you know, the mod's gone. It's not there anymore. What happened was the module wasn't that good a receiver, and I went out to fly, and the main reason I wanted the DJI goggles was because they were smaller than those big analog goggles that I have. And I wanted to, and now by the time I got done bolting all this crap on, I had something that was just unwieldy. But I gave it a try. I went out to fly with this god awful looking contraption on my head with that red faceplate that I 3D printed and everything. And it worked, but it didn't work. The image wasn't. I mean, it was good because those goggles have great screens in them, but I was disappointed with the performance of the thing. I was looking for an all-in-one thing. Now, one thing I did do for those of you that care about DJI goggles is I went ahead. Let me show you this. I went ahead and got this Furious FPV battery case that holds two 18650 lithium ion cells and has a short little wire with the plug right there. And I just tie wrapped it to this metal clamp that holds the thing, and it's on there pretty good, and that eliminates the need to have a battery in your pocket and a wire and all that. And it also, on top of it, has a power button that you push. I don't know if you can see it. You push it twice, and
Yeah.
it comes on.
Yeah.
And the goggles come on, and it tells you in the little display up there your voltages, how long the thing's been turned on. It gives you all kinds of information. And the cool thing about it is, I'm going to shut it off here.
Is that because you didn't want the Fat Shark battery?
No, this is what this is designed for, a Fat
Okay.
Shark, to carry up on here. But the DJI goggles comes with a long wire, and you use a standard LiPo and put it in your pocket.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a hassle, having that wire hanging off.
Yeah.
You want to grab these things, throw them up on your head, have the battery built in. And what it does is it gives you the standard little balance adapter like you'd find on a lithium polymer. And they give you an adapter that has one of these plugs and then a XT60, and you can charge this without taking the batteries out of it. You just plug it right into your regular battery charger, set the chemistry to lithium ion, and it charges it right in the case, which is really slick. And it's 3,000 milliamp batteries. So, and it's light, because lithium ions are much lighter than lithium polymers. The only difference is a lithium ion can't give you that 50C current burst, which you don't need with goggles. You need them when you're flying drones and things, because you need to be able to have that kind of power.
Well, how heavy is that, Mitch? Because John's saying he hated the battery weight on the side of his face.
It's very light. It's just two of the 18650s, and the case weighs almost nothing. And I'll tell you, John,
The 18650 batteries?
it uses these, the two,
round ones? Yeah.
the round ones. Yeah, there's two of them in there. And my transmitter, my radio uses those batteries too. The jumper
nine?
uses them in the back too. Uses the 18650s. So, plus, if I have to, if I ever have like an amazingly long flying day, and these batteries run down, I just grab the wire that came with the goggles, grab a LiPo, unplug the plug right here, plugged it in, and I've got plenty of battery, so I'm not worried about that. But this is pretty cool, and so I did that to the goggles. But I think what I'm going to do, and instead of putting that analog mod, I want to use the DJI goggles in analog for flying the fixed wing airplanes.
Why do you? Well, okay, why?
Well, because your flights can be 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes.
And you can't last that long in digital mode? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not a digital on the fixed wing. You have analog, because in iNav you want all that data in your goggles, which you can't get with the DJI. So you put a pretty powerful VTX transmitter in it and use analog system. So, but because you're flying this airplane all over the place with the goggles on, you have some patch antennas which are directional. So
Right.
you're always kind of well, what I want to do is I want to make a ground station,
Okay.
kind of like that thing you have on a tripod.
Why don't you I was going to say, okay, never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I want to get a ground station, I have the receivers already. It's the same kind of receiver that's in the goggles. It has an AV out. I've got a long wire to go from it to the DJI goggles. I can plug it right in, and all I want to do is get a tall stand for it.
Oh my
with
God,
some-
this thing was so cheap, Mitch.
Yeah,
Under $20.
Yeah, I've seen them at Amazon. I can buy a stand that's 10 foot high for $20.
Yep.
And put this thing up high with a couple of omnidirectional antennas.
Yep.
And then just run a wire.
Just like Connex.
Yeah, put a wire into my goggles for analog and then sit down in my chair, my easy chair, folding chair, and then fly that way. I don't need to have the actual receiver on my head because I'm not going anywhere when I'm flying it. That way. I'm going to try.
Did you see that little 12-inch TV? That little 12-inch HD? Is it 12? Yeah, 12-inch HD TV I carry in the back of my car. I run it off a little inverter, and I can sit there and watch it all from there instead of looking down at the little screen.
Well, for that, but when you're wearing goggles, you don't need to deal with that because you have the screens. The screens are in the goggles. I want to fly.
Even with your ground station?
Yeah, the ground station sends
It's going to be for VTX.
It sends the video signal to the goggles.
Okay.
So you're still flying in the goggles. You're just.
I was thinking a whole ground station in a case like
No. This is just a little receiver that has a little 5-inch display and 2 antennas, and it's made. Viper makes it. The same people that make the goggles, and it has a tripod mount in the bottom. So you screw it on top of a thing, stick it up in the air, run a wire to it. I got a wire that's about 20 feet long, so and I just plug it right into the AV in on the goggles, and I'm hooked up, and the antenna is fixed, and it's not moving around, and I can do what I want with my head without worrying about gaining or losing my signal. For analog, for digital, the goggles have all their built-in antennas and everything else. But I'm going to give that a try rather than trying to build the a Fat Shark module into an adapter that fits on the front, because then you got big antennas sticking out from that and antennas sticking out from this. I got to tell you, I think I took a video. Let me see if I can find it here. It's the funniest looking thing you've ever seen.
I love what DJI antennas actually are. They give you 10 inches of plastic, but the antenna is only a 2 or 3 inch piece of wire.
Oh yeah.
That's out of a Matrice antenna, Ascendance antenna.
Let me see
You're
here.
flying 5 miles away on a 2-inch piece of wire.
Hold on, let me see if I can get over to this. So this is me.
Now I didn't even know you bought those goggles.
Yeah, this is me flying the iNav drone. I'm talking here. You can.
Yeah, that's the auto landing one, right?
Pretty good. It's coming down a little bit. So what I did was I just took it off an angle mode, line of sight. See, I'm not wearing any. I'm not wearing. See that? Did you see that when I turned towards the camera?
Yeah.
Did you see that red faceplate I made for it?
Yeah.
No.
And have all those antennas sticking up all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was terrible. So anyway, I was out at the park there in Palm Bay the other day, and so I put the goggles on, and then I'm talking.
Mitch will tell you, this is the largest park in the world that's here in my community. It's not used at all.
No, nobody was there. There's a here, I'll show you something. This is me getting ready to go fly. I mean, what else we got to do here but watch my stupid videos, Anyway, this is me getting ready. I got the GoPro on my hat, so the first thing I had to do was look in my car window to see if it was straight, because I had no idea what I was photographing with it. But I figured, well, that looked pretty good. But there's the park, Jim. Not a soul.
I know.
Well, here we are
This is me talking.
out at the park today. And, all right, let's get the drone and here we go. Okay.
And I hate to sound stupid, but you know, Harbor Freight has some of those cases on sale now too. I got mine off a mono price.
I got more cases right now, empty cases from that I know what
Well,
to do
here we
with.
are,
Here, look at this. Jim.
and I'm almost embarrassed
Because
to
you're the only
admit
one.
that it's December the 15th, and I'm down here in Palm Bay, Florida, at the Palm Bay Regional Park. Not a cloud in the sky, not a soul in sight. And the temperature is in the mid to upper 70s. And I'm not trying to rub it in either, just so you know.
Yeah, you're rubbing.
But this is why.
Yeah, I was trying to
live
rub it in.
Florida.
Actually.
The purpose of
Mitch.
today's
Yeah.
Mitch, can you go back just right there? That behind that line of trees is the largest cattle farm in America. I didn't know that. It's owned by
Oh, really?
the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Which behind which trees?
The line that goes onto the Heritage Parkway, so it'd be your left side.
Oh, okay, okay.
The
Yeah,
largest
back
cattle
over here.
ranch. Yeah, the largest cattle ranch in America is owned by
Well,
the
you know
Jehovah's
there's a school right there. Is it
Heritage
on the
High
other
School.
side of the school. Yeah, it's on the other side of the school.
little venture out here is
At any rate, I took the drone here and I flew it. And what I did was
okay, here we are.
that's not the one I want. This is the one I want.
Okay, here we
No,
are.
that's not the one I want either. Okay, where is the one?
There
I
you
want?
are.
Here I are. Yeah, is this it here? Yeah, this is. I think this is it. This is. This is the flight with that thing. There it goes. And this is where I took it up, line of sight right here, and I was busy putting on the goggles where I had just had it. I put it into altitude hold and position hold. It hung in there pretty good. Stayed pretty much in place. And I think I have the actual goggles recording, but I didn't. I was going to make a video out of all this stuff and decided that I didn't have enough footage. So this is just kind of the raw stuff. But the drone was flying there, and I put the goggles on, and then I just put it in acro mode, which is what's cool. There we go. So now I'm in acro mode, and the drone definitely needs some tuning. I haven't tuned it yet, but this is a 7-inch, and I fly it around, and and this is just that RunCam 5. So I just flying it around in acro mode. And it's just like a regular drone. Whether it's Betaflight or iNav, you wouldn't know the difference. I think I may do a roll or something. There I am standing in front of that little pagoda thing. And I haven't really flown this drone that much, so I'm really not quite used to it yet, but can you hear the sound of the motors? Jim?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. mean, it flies good. It does need some tuning, and it's not Betaflight. It's iNav, so it's a little different to tune.
Is
the
there
main
a
thing
little? Is there a little shake there, or is that just?
Yeah, a little bit of shake, and that's probably can be tuned out of it. But I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to fly it around and then throw the switch. Okay, and
Yeah, I love that return to home.
yeah, and throw the switch. So you got a race, you got a race quad, and you got a switch to throw, which is kind of cool.
And a beautiful landing.
Watch, because I actually this time I took the goggles off and I grabbed the other camera and photographed it coming down and touching down. But I mean, if I was a killer Mr. Steele kind of drone pilot, I could be, probably be flying in and out of the trees. But that's
Leave that for them.
yeah. I mean, I'm an old guy. I'm happy to be able to fly it well enough to get it up, fly it around, do a roll or some few maneuvers, and
I'm
just
happy
enjoy
when it comes home every time I press the stick.
yeah, enjoy the view. But this adds another dimension to the with the iNav to the FPV, and there's return to home. Okay, so it came back to the home point.
Okay, so what's your all-in cost on the iNav and your 7-inch, that whole system there?
About 160, 65 bucks.
And you're approaching like a DJI RTF capabilities.
Oh yeah, look at this. This is it.
This is the landing. I love the landing.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the. Let me get the. Let me get to the end of this one. No, that's still not the one I want. Is
Most FPV landings look like a controlled crash.
yeah. Hold on a second. I know I got it here. Yeah, they do because it's tough. It's tough to see. Okay, here we go.
You caught the landing on a second camera?
I think so.
Back to home.
Yeah, okay. I was just throwing the switch here.
Preparing to land.
You'll see it. And then I just grabbed the camera off the tripod. There it is. See it?
Yeah, yeah.
This is all hands off. Here it comes.
That's steady as a rock.
Look at this. And it's a bottom mount battery and it doesn't even tip over. Isn't that something? And I mean that's a
Exciting that it's
a
landed.
7-inch race quad that will return to home and land.
Now,
And
it
it
should shut
landed
off the motors, but it hasn't.
it landed
So that's
right
just
about
something I
where
need to check out. So
shut
I'll
up,
go ahead
guy.
and disarm it.
It's enough.
Did
Okay.
it eventually? No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. It brought him back to idle, and I don't know if it's supposed to shut him off or just it did idle him down to where they normally are when the quad is armed. I thought the last time I tried it, it actually disarmed the thing, but it didn't. But that's something I need to work on here. Let me get myself back in the picture here. There we go. Bob Casey says best of both worlds. Yeah, I think it's really neat. Now that the only downside to it is that iNav is a little behind in some of the more advanced tuning features. The newest version of iNav just brought in dynamic filters, but Betaflight is still a little ahead because they've got RPM filters. You don't need that to fly well. It's just well known that a 7-inch quad is a lot more difficult to tune and more susceptible to vibrations just for the fact that it's bigger. But I'll get this thing tuned out nicely, and it's fun to fly. And if you're a beginner in FPV, knowing that you have a bailout switch, or that you don't have to like you said, Jim, do a controlled crash every time you're going to land. It gives you a lot more confidence, kind of like flying a flight simulator gives you confidence.
Yeah.
And you end up doing things on the flight sim that you wouldn't normally do because you know you're not going to hurt anything. Steve Carpenter says he's got to run. Thanks for coming in, Steve. Good to see you. Rick Albert says sounds like something Santa would use. Yeah, return to home, back to the North Pole. Now, since I have no rhyme or reason to anything that we talk about in this live stream, I want to show you guys what I did the last 3 days. Okay, so let me make me big again, and I built this.
Oh, the EB?
No, it's a wing. It's a 900 millimeter wing called the AR wing, and it's very light. Of course, it's all foam, and I've got a yellow leading edge on it, so of course it looks transparent in the chroma key. But hey, it looks kind of cool with that transparent leading edge. It really is pretty cool, and it carries. Whoops! It's got an FPV camera over there. See it?
Yeah.
And then it's got the in the front here. It's got a place for the either a GoPro or a run cam
The session
for
or
high
something like that?
for high def to take pictures. And inside, I'm going to put it over here on the build table and show you what's going on. I haven't flown it yet because, Jim, as you know, the weather just got ridiculous.
It's a pusher.
Yeah, we got like 30-mile-an-hour winds. and
Yeah, it's
all
crazy. No, it's a little pusher and it's relatively light. But I'm going to put this over here, and then go over to this. There it is, and now you can see it. And I'll move the mic so you can hear me. And this. This is where the battery goes up in here. And right here is an F4 flight controller. It's the Maytech F411 wing. And it's designed for wrong way. There it is. It's designed for flying wings, and it's running the same version of iNav that the quad that I just showed you. And in a flying wing, there's different settings in iNav, but iNav is also designed for fixed wing flying, whereas Betaflight isn't. But iNav is designed to fly fixed wing, and this thing has got the VTX over here on the side, right there, and that runs out to the antenna. Where is it? There it is, the antenna. And I 3D printed a little plastic mount for the antenna and glued it into the phone. On the other side of this thing is the where is it? Is the GPS module. And you can use one of the smaller GPS modules because you don't need a magnetometer with a fixed wing like you do in a drone. And the flight controller itself has everything connected. It has the two servos for the wings, and everything is. It has the camera, the VTX, and all that stuff. The receiver is over on the other side, and it's complete for autonomous flight. And interestingly enough, one of the cool features of iNav for fixed wings is something called auto launch, okay, which is an automatic takeoff sequence. And I've watched a number of videos on it, and if you guys are interested, just go onto YouTube and type iNav auto launch and watch some of the videos, because what happens is you take you take the transmitter. Oh, Mike Roach is here. Hello, Mike.
It's 7 o'clock.
That's a waste of my time.
Hello, Mitch.
Hi, hey, Mike. How you doing?
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I got a new setup here.
Nice.
And I'm testing out all kinds of stuff.
Was that your thing doing the talking that I just heard?
No, it was my phone at 7 o'clock. It tells me
Oh, okay.
to take out the garbage.
Well, let me finish my little story, and then we'll get back to you, Mike. I didn't
Okay.
want to see you sitting in the green room. So, this iNav auto launch. If you've ever seen these guys trying to hand launch these wings and things, it's ridiculous. They crash. They go off in different directions. So, they came up with a sequence called auto launch. And what you do is you take the radio and you assign auto launch to a switch. And I have auto launch assigned to this switch here. So you click it into auto launch. Well, maybe it's this switch. Every one of these switches does something on that airplane. So I have a cheat sheet. I actually printed a photograph of this thing and places to put what every switch does.
Better have one, yeah.
Yeah. And I just finished it.
Or
So
labels.
I think this is auto launch here. Yeah. So you click this down, you put it into auto launch. You set the throttle to where you want the motor to be running when it turns control back to you. Okay. Because it doesn't want anything from you when it's taken off. Then you have the option of hitting this switch, which is return to home, where unlike the drone, it doesn't land, it flies back and just circles over your head. It loiters, okay? And you arm the quad, and the motor doesn't run. And you take the transmitter and you set it down. You grab the airplane, and this is designed to sense the inertia or the G-force of being thrown, okay? You take the thing and you heave it with the motor turned off. After about a third of a second, it senses that it's in the air. The motor fires up. It goes into stabilized mode at a climb angle and a throttle setting that you've predetermined in the settings for iNav. And it climbs out by itself for however long you tell it, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. And then it turns control over to you, back to you. Now, if you had previously set return to launch, when it turns control back to you, it returns to launch. So it takes off by itself, flies up, and then after 5 seconds, it goes into return to home mode, climbs to whatever altitude return to home is, and then ends up just flying circles over your head. All this time, you can be screwing with your goggles, getting yourself comfortable, getting a nice iced tea ready, you know. And then when you're ready, you just move any of the sticks. And as soon as it senses stick movement, it turns control back to you and turns off the return to home. So how cool is that? And this is ready to go. And I tested it. I did all that in the house with no propeller on it, of course, and got it all set up. I took the drone and I just went like this with it, the plane rather. And the motor fired up after about a third of a second, and it went and according to the readout on the on-screen display, it went into auto launch mode. And that to me is amazing. And now there's a guy, you know, that Binary, the twin engine airplane that I built, that's has the same iNav in it. I saw a video today of a guy in England that actually uses auto launch and takes off the ground. Just does a normal takeoff with wheels. All he does is he grabs onto the airplane and gives it a push. And as soon as it senses that it's moving, the motors fire up and off it goes.
Wow.
Climbs out. Unbelievable. And the cool thing is that if you get screwed up and you don't know whether you're coming or going. You got all these automatic safety things. The trick is remember which one of the 4 or 5 switches that do all kinds of different things.
Mhm.
The way I've got it set up, this switch back here arms it and disarms it. This switch is my flight modes. The top setting is what they call manual or pass-through. In other words, no stabilization, no nothing. You're flying the airplane. What you do, it, just like if it had no controller in it. The second is horizon mode, where it's stabilized, but you can still roll it or fly it around. And the bottom position is the equivalent of air mode on a drone. You basically have full control, but it still uses its stabilization to maintain the attitude that it was when the sticks returned to center. This switch over here, this position here is altitude hold. So if I'm flying and I want it to maintain its own altitude, I click this down, and then the second click of that switch is loiter. If I just want it to circle where it is, wherever it is, if I push this all the way down, it's going to hold its altitude and just circle that position. This switch over here is the return to home switch. That's all it does, either position. If I have a problem, and I'm using the same convention on all the drones and everything else. So these switches do the same thing, so I don't have to really, once I get it in my head. This is auto launch on this fixed wing, and this switch is flaps on the other one. I don't have auto launch set up on that. And this switch up here, there's 2 modes in iNav called auto trim and auto tune. And if you trim up the airplane where you get your trims set to where it's flying nice and level, you can click this into auto trim and it will automatically set up. Oh, Jim is gone. I guess he couldn't get a word in edgewise. Yeah, I saw him.
Disappeared.
Well, thanks for coming in, Jim. I'm not boring everybody with this. But the auto tune allows you, it actually basically sets the center points in the flight controller to match the trim settings on the radio. And then there's an auto tune, which is another mode. Oh, Mike Roach is back. Here we go. Everybody's coming and going here.
There you go.
An auto tune actually changes the PID tuning. You put it in auto tune and you do all kinds of maneuvers, and it actually automatically tunes it. So I mean, we're talking about some amazingly sophisticated software that costs $0, that runs on a flight controller that costs $40.
Nice.
So that drone what am I doing here? This thing, that does all that stuff and has all that technology in it. Like I say, $165, including the drone, the receiver, and the GPS that you need for it. That's cheap. The airplane with all of that wing with all of this technology in it. The wing itself was about $80. The flight controller was $40. Less than $150.
No kidding. Nice.
For everything for an airplane. And if you crash it, you still can take all that stuff out of it,
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Enough of that.
You been flying much, Mike?
Not much. We've had a lot of snow here, Gary.
Oh yeah, we've had it too.
Yeah.
So have I, man. It's snowing like hell down here.
It's in the 20s right now, I think, outside, and 20s tomorrow. High of 20, I think. But then the weekend's supposed to warm up to like 34.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I might fly tomorrow night downtown, around in the middle of downtown area where the ice skating rink. We have sort of a mini Rockefeller Center, and with a Christmas tree and ice skating rink and all that. Good. And my nephew's a cop, so he's going to get me a good spot, and hopefully I'll get some some winter flying in, which I don't normally do at all.
No. I was up on Friday for Friday the 13th up here, and it was cool. It was 4 Celsius, so just above what's that? Right. 38 or 40.
Right. Yeah.
It was cool enough, but not bad. But yeah, it's cold now and snowy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you in Ontario?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're really not that far from each other. Sort of.
I'm between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, just west of Niagara Falls.
Okay, so you're just like Buffalo practically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About an hour and a half to Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, cool. How about, have you gotten out and done any flying outdoors?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, other than Friday the 13th, I flew that
Right.
that motorcycle non-event actually, but I'm planning to get some Christmas light flights in. There's some local Christmas light displays, so
Yeah.
the one park that I had my crash in, I'll probably go back there. That'll be interesting doing that at night when you can't see the wires. No obstacle avoidance, so we'll see what we can get in, you know. But
While you guys are talking, I'm catching up with all the people in the chat who I
the
didn't
other
notice
plan
that.
I have, Mike, and you might be interested too, is I'm going to do a compilation video of a whole bunch of flights and include some of the longer clips to make something that's about an hour long. And I'm going to offer that to dentists' offices and doctors' offices that have a viewing screen in the waiting room as a waiting room thing. They can play it with sound or without sound.
Right.
I'll just make
That's
a
cool.
sort of relaxing cinematic nature video. So
That's cool.
That's a great idea, and you know, if you got a cardiologist, you can put your near misses in there and drum up a little business for the guy. Get his people going nervous, you know.
get them rolling, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what? You know, it's watch time. You know, we make so many 3 and 4 minute videos. You'll never get 4,000 hours of them.
That's why I do these live streams. It's the only way to do it for guys like us.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've done is I've gone into a restaurant where they have a, you know, big widescreen TV that's watching sports, right? Find the remote on the smart TV, switch it to YouTube, put it on your channel, put it on your uploads playlist so that it plays everything. You just hit the play button and then hide the remote somewhere.
What do you tell the cops when they come to get you?
Well, no, I'm not even there anymore. I've left. You know, I got 3 or 4 hours watch time.
I'll tell you, you're just about devious enough to be a member of Congress here in this country.
Oh, no, we're talking about politics now.
Oh, I froze myself up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're not moving. You're not moving.
Yeah, what did I do? I was messing with my camera settings. This is
I'll teach you. Barry G, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Osby Drone. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Yeah, you're
Good
still
evening, sir. Good evening. I just now that you're here, I want to tell you, I enjoyed being on your show last week. It was a fun time. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, very good. Osby Drone. Wow.
Yeah.
You're up in the world, eh?
Did you see me on Osby Drone last week?
Oh, I
Last
missed it.
Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mike is back. You moving now, Mike? Yes.
I
you're
think
moving.
I'm alive now. I
Mike-
tried to change the color temperature on my camera because I got a whole new camera and a new light, and my light is on pure it's on 5500 Kelvin right now, bouncing off of a shade on a window. So this is all experimental.
You
So
look. Let me hold on a second. Let's take.
I look a little red right now.
Little bit on the lobsterish side. I wonder why that is. Is that
Well,
your color balance is just a tad
Yeah, I
off.
just messed with it, but I was real cool earlier. So forgive me if I check out of
Man,
here
let's
again.
see what colors you can become.
All right, let's see. Well, we can go crazy and turn me into a
Oh, there
lobster.
you. Oh man.
Oh,
there you
whoa.
go. Now
You're
you're
a
red.
sunburn. Oh, that's cool. Oh,
Whoa, you had it. You just had it there. You went right through it.
Let's see.
You
that's
got everybody in the chat rooting for you. They're commenting. Little red, not bad.
Let's
See,
see.
Greg, this is what you call, this is professional show business right here.
Right.
This is what we do here. if we screw up royally, nobody notices because it's like part of the show, you know.
I don't see Jimmy Kimmel making these kind of adjustments on his show.
No. But we have a good time, don't we?
Well, yeah, we have fun. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little red now. I'm not really sure. I got to dial this stuff in.
Yeah. I
'Cause
mean,
I gotta-
I have the white balance thing here, and I can make myself you know, basically if I change the white balance, I just make myself look more sunburned. I look like Donald Trump now. You know, I look orange.
Now, are you doing that on your lights or your camera?
No, on my camera settings, the Logitech camera settings thing.
Right.
See, I can make myself look pale as hell, or
That's what I was in. We see.
and I go generally with the lighting I have here just under 6,000, about 5,800 Kelvin seems to be where I look the best. So that's where I leave it.
I adjust
As
my
good
color.
as I can look. That is, you know.
I adjust my
So
color by moving the chair. See, I'm brighter back here. And darker up here.
Yes, yeah. And I shrunk myself down a little bit because normally I have myself a little bigger like this. See, and I decided that this might be a better match for the rest of you guys. You know, so Greg showed me that when I was on his show. I came in big. You know, I mean, I came in. You know, hi Greg, how are you? He says, you're way too big. I said, okay, here, let me get small, you know. We have buttons, man. We have buttons. We can do anything.
I'm low tech. I got the built-in camera. I don't know what it does.
Yeah.
Built-in microphone, and it seems to work.
Now, I'm dying to take these headphones off and see if I can use my laptop's audio without getting feedback. I might.
Okay.
Let me see if I can try it.
Hold on a second.
Let's see.
Where is it? Here it is. Boom. Okay. What happened?
What I do? Nothing yet.
I gave you a drum roll.
There we go. Okay, how about now?
What's that? What sounds good? What are you on now?
The laptop speakers.
Oh, you're listening on the laptop speaker.
Yeah,
Oh, so you're not hearing through the headphones?
right. No feedback?
No, not really.
Okay, cool.
A little more ambiance, but not really. Not
Yeah,
really.
well-
If I turn my speakers on, you can get all kinds of. Oh, look who's back! Can't stay away, can you, Jim?
Hey, Jim.
Bye.
That was an abrupt departure.
Hey, when nature calls, brother.
Is that what it was? Oh man! Hey, listen, it's a highlight of my day when nature calls. You know.
Yeah, if you get that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the trucker says, when you got to go, you got to stop.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, all of a sudden you went and out, and you were gone.
I typed it in the private chat, man.
I'm not looking at the private
nature
chat.
run. Oh yeah, I see it there. Yeah.
Maybe I should look at the private chat. Oh yeah, nature run, Mitch. I
So,
see that.
so
How
now
about
the whole world knows my activities now.
that?
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You feel better?
I do. Thanks, Mike.
Drone Shot says depends, Jim. Depends.
Depends.
This is show business, man. You know, you can't just get up and go when you want to.
Too much coffee.
Too much coffee, or you need one of these things. You need a Be Right Back screen. See.
I didn't think you wanted this way. You could have let somebody else in if you wanted.
They're not all that clamoring to get in here anyway. So last week I had 6 guys, which was I think the most I ever had. I never had a situation where I had to send somebody away.
Well,
And
can can you take 9 and line us up like Hollywood squares?
You could if it was on Zoom,
Oh,
but
okay.
on StreamYard's limited to 6, and the free StreamYard is what I use. And you know, I last Saturday I usually was going on Spike's show every Saturday, but he's gotten away from StreamYards. He's not happy with the audio and video quality of it. So he's trying to integrate Skype. And
I use OBS.
I got to tell you, well, no, he uses OBS, but for communications, he's trying to bring Skype into OBS.
Does it have NDI? Does
It
StreamYard
does,
have it?
but it's still a nightmare of settings. The window sizes keep changing all by themselves. You know, you've seen that happens to Ken Heron too. Sometimes he'll have somebody get big and he'll get small, and I think that Skype automatically adjusts the resolution. And when the stream when the bit rate changes, and Greg would know more about all that stuff than I do, but all I know is that StreamYard's is the height of simplicity. And, you know, for what I'm doing, believe me, what I do is I go into the audio settings and I turn the audio processing off.
I had problems with Skype, bringing in Skype's audio.
It's a night. I've tried it a couple times, and it's just, this is so easy. And I don't bring, you guys know how I do this. I don't bring StreamYards into my OBS.
Right.
I actually create the stream in StreamYard, and I just use OBS as my virtual camera. And
See, I do it different. I run it from OBS at 1080p, and then I just bring StreamYards in. I don't go live from StreamYard. I go live from OBS.
Yeah, I have probably. Rick Halber says he's using. I guess you're talking about Spike. Well, see, Spike wants to play background music, and StreamYards just does all kinds of ducking with that music in the background, coming in and out and in and out, and it gets to the point where you got 6 people trying to talk over each other, and music trying to dominate on top of the 6 people, and it's just not usually. You're right. Greg says that Skype dynamically changes the resolution, and that's a problem I had with it. So I really
says
like
the audio was mono too. I didn't know that.
in Skype. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But
Over
I
NDI, yeah.
really like this way that I'm doing it right now. I have the
Mitch over there.
yes.
Which
Yeah. I'm going to step out a moment. Nature's calling for the dog. So
Okay. Well,
I gotta
come
go.
right back. I'll just leave you in there. I'll take you out when you come back in. I'll see you.
All right.
I'm gonna step out a minute too because I'm just gonna grab my tea.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a sec.
All right.
I started
There
a
we go.
trend, Mitch.
I guess. So you see what I'm trying to show you here on my screen what I'm doing here. But what I'm doing is I have up here, can you see the mouse on the screen where I'm moving it? Can
No.
you see the mouse?
No.
At any rate, the center of my
We're
screen.
seeing you.
You're seeing
from-
you're seeing me from the rear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should give you a shot of the screen itself.
Can you bring that in closer or no?
Yeah, I can give you the this deal here. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
This right up here. Can you see the mouse where I'm moving it now?
Yes.
Okay. This is my StreamYards window.
Right.
Underneath it, I have my OBS window. OBS is just feeding this one square. Okay. It's feeding. So whatever I do in OBS is sent to StreamYard, but StreamYard is controlling the screen.
Yeah,
So
but
in
then your
StreamYard-
resolution is lower.
Oh, who cares? For what I do, 720p is more than I need. Can you
Mitch,
tell the difference?
You're selling yourself short. You look spectacular in
No,
1080p.
listen, you know what? The little bit of blurriness helps guys like me. You know, when you get old, you get all kinds of little spots all over you and everything. You know, this is perfect for me. But by changing these settings here, I use the StreamYards basically just to change the layout of me and my guests. So if I want to be full screen, I can be full screen. And what you're seeing here with me full screen is basically what my
That's your presets on your stream deck, right?
yeah. So now I go, no, this is me pushing the buttons in StreamYard. This is the side by side,
Oh, okay.
the two side by side, me big and the guest small, or just me. Okay. Now, if I start pushing my buttons on my thing, like my Be Right Back, it changes everything in that one window. See?
Right.
All right. See what I'm saying? So I'm using OBS to create all of these different outputs, but those outputs are going into StreamYards. And if I go to StreamYards and click the side by side, my OBS output is going to only be in my window. And I can still do the same thing and change all the scenes, but it's just changing it in my window, and it's very simple.
Now, how come you have different VU? Go back to the other shot of
Which other
your
shot?
of your screen where we saw your VU meters and they're all green and all that. I don't have that.
What, this down here?
Yeah, right there.
Well, that's if I was using, because I have an input for the Zoom mic into OBS, which I'm not using.
Right.
All of my sound is going from my here. Wait, this is what's really going to drive you
Right.
and Craig crazy. But my sound is going through my
What is
Voice Meter
that?
Potato.
What is that app we're seeing?
Voice Meter Potato.
Okay.
And now what this app does, you see when I talk, you see way over on the left there.
Yeah. That's
The
yeah.
VO thing is gone.
That's what drew my eye.
And if you look way over here on the right, you'll see this is going too. Okay. This is the input from my mixer, my Zoom H6. So everything that goes through my mixer, which is, I'll bring you guys back in a second. Everything that goes through my mixer, which is right here, this thing right here, okay,
Right.
goes into that first thing. So in my mixer, I have my music. Okay.
Right.
I have my microphone volume. I have my sound effects going through the mixer. And all that from my mixer, where I can manually adjust the different levels and everything and balance all that out, goes into this channel.
It's all into one channel. Okay.
All that goes, yeah, because I don't need to use this as a mixer. This is more like a router. So this takes this in. And if I want to send this channel to my speakers, I click A1 because A1 hardware out is my speakers. A2 is my headphone. But I don't want my headphone echoing back into my ears because there's going to be a little bit of a delay after going through all this stuff.
It drives me nuts on that
Yeah,
Yeti
so
mic.
I plug my headphone directly into the Zoom H6 mixer, and I have no delay whatsoever from what I hear. But what you guys are hearing on the stream is a 100 or 200 milliseconds later than what I'm hearing in my own headphones. Interestingly enough, it matches up almost exactly with the video delay. You know what I mean? And before I was doing this, using this thing, my audio was usually off, but now it's pretty well synced. So what the Voice Meter Potato does, without trying to give you lessons on how to use this, is you bring all this stuff in. This output, way over here at the end, it's called B3. That output goes to the input of Google Chrome, which is where StreamYards is running. So anything that I send to B3, see right over here, it
Right.
says B3.
Right.
Anything that I send to B3 goes into StreamYards. So the output of my mixer goes into StreamYards. This input here is a virtual audio cable from my VLC program to play videos. Okay. So for example, if I'm playing a video, I'm gonna play a video with some noise over here. Here.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Okay, you hear that?
Yeah.
if I were to click this B3 here,
Yep. But
you don't
shut
hear it
up.
anymore.
Right.
But I still hear it in my headphones. Okay? But you can't hear it. So I can preview things.
Here it comes.
I can preview things this way without sending it to the stream. So anytime any of these channels where I click B3, I know it's going out to StreamYards. Okay? So that once I got the hang of it, it's amazing the control that it allows you. But and it makes it a lot easier for me to use the kind of setup I am without having to bring the StreamYards into OBS with all of the sound settings and all that other crap. So for me, this works. I don't know how.
Now, can you
how-
bring in Skype?
Sure, I can bring that into OBS, and I can route the sound out of OBS into another one of these different channels here, and do what I want with it. This is a tremendous program, and it costs nothing. Okay, it costs nothing. Voice Meter, Meeter, potato, and there's a
Right.
ton of good videos on YouTube. A ton of good videos on YouTube that show you how to use it. So with that, I'm going to push the button here, bring me back in, and I don't know
Hey,
what I
guys.
just said, but it sounded good to me.
So you don't mind hearing yourself in your headphones?
I don't have any. I want to hear myself in my headphones with no delay, and I because it's just going through the mixer. The mic's going into the mixer and right to my headphones. It's not going through any processing. I hear exactly what I'm saying, and it's good to hear your own voice. But if you have a delay, it drives you nuts.
Yeah.
But when you're using a mixer, you can bring the headphone out of the mixer and you don't have the delay, and it makes it more natural for you to speak, hearing your own voice in your ears. At least it does for me. So I managed, after to get all this stuff working pretty good, and it ain't simple. I mean, you see that. You see
Yeah.
that setup there, but and this monitor over on the right here I use that only to play videos on. Okay, that makes it easy because I can capture it. I can just capture the monitor display and send it. So if I want to play a video, I can go over here on my screen. I got all these different videos here. Okay, so here's a video, for example, right here.
On
And
the
I
right
make this-
side of your screen, lined up
I make
already,
it-
right?
I make it full screen. I'll turn the sound off on that, okay? I make it full screen, and then if I want to show it to everybody, I just go to full right here, and now we're watching the video, see? If I want to put myself in the bottom corner, I go to what I call split right, and then I'm in the bottom there, see? So I can still be in the picture while the video's running in the background. And again, what's really neat about that is what I'm doing just goes into my input into StreamYards. So it doesn't affect any of you guys. It just shows up in my window. So I'm broadcasting to this window, and then in StreamYards, I tell it what to do with these windows. Make it all me. Make me in that thing. Make me bigger and put my guests on the side.
Yeah.
See? So in that respect, I'm using the controls of StreamYards to design the window layout, but what's in my window comes from all this other crap and doesn't affect any of you other guys. Now, if I brought Skype into OBS, I would have to size every window with each of the different participants. Skype 1, 2, 3, and 4. It allows you to have 4, at least standard OBS does. And I'd have to make sure their audio was going to the right place. It's just more complicated than I want to make it. This worked out real easy. Yeah,
Because
works out.
bringing Skype in was pretty easy, but getting the audio was rough for me.
Yeah, and you really have to become familiar with how to handle all the audio ins and outs of OBS, and that can be a nightmare. Whereas once I've learned the basics of this voice meter app, I don't even use I have absolutely no audio running through OBS whatsoever for this broadcast. Everything is running through my mixer and the voice meter app that routes everything, whether it's coming from a hardware input on the computer, a piece of software. I can create a separate channel for a particular application only using what they call virtual audio cables.
Right.
That's how I've got it set up too, Mitch.
Yeah, and that makes it great because
Mike, do you have it set up that way?
No.
Okay.
What you see behind me is I have a green screen. This is all fake. This whole
it looks like a real house, Mike. It really
right?
does.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
bro.
I'm actually sitting. I mean, I'm sitting in front of a window with trees waving in the breeze outside.
I actually am the only one here sitting with a pile of junk behind me.
I even have some subliminal. I got a Christmas thing back there in the shelf somewhere. You can't see it, and I got my Red Riders sign back there. If you'll notice, for
Well,
Christmas
this is how
time.
Spike does it. This is how Spike does it too. He does the same thing. I can actually take and put myself. Where is it? Here it is. In
He got
front
that
of,
whole Roadcaster Pro thing going.
Watch this deal here. I can move immediately into my other room where all my drones are. See?
Ah,
Cool, huh? And the
You're-
monkey comes.
a lot
the
of
monkey comes
drones.
with me. Yeah, the monkey comes with me.
You're changing your green screen background in
That's
OBS.
all I did. All I did, yeah. So all I
Okay.
did was change the background. You wanna see me in front of
so that's a still photo.
yeah, that's a still photo, but I can
Okay.
put myself in front of moving things too.
Mitch in space.
How cool is that? I can put myself in front of moving things. I can put myself in front of where is it? Here. Try
I
this
saw
one.
they had the green screen feature, but I didn't play with it at all.
Yeah, it's really pretty neat. Actually, if you really want to see what I'm really sitting in front of, it's this,
Right.
Right.
Actual green screen.
and I have green, and I also have green on the back of my chair,
Yeah.
so that when I turn my chroma key on, everything disappears. See?
So Arthur Moorhead says, so how do you actually invite others in? That's still done through StreamYard invite, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of inviting in,
Somebody here?
somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah. Who else? Let me ask you this. Who else shows up about this time every day, every Thursday,
Art,
and then is in a hurry to leave 5 minutes before?
Oh, it's
we're
all right.
finished? Who?
Stand up,
I'll give
Funny
you a
man
clue.
himself. Hey,
Yeah. I gotta go watch Ken Heron.
Yeah. Goodbye. Okay.
See, Art's in front of his green screen. But
Yep,
here, let me
that's
get rid
right.
of all my
hey,
flashing
Arch,
disco lights.
Art. How was that crappy?
Oh, it was good. It was
Yeah.
very good.
Cool.
Yep.
How was that crappy?
He was eating
Crappy.
crappy the other
Crappy,
day, and
not
I just
crappy.
thought I'd let you guys know.
It's
I
fish.
guess it's a fish, right, Art?
Yeah, it's a sunfish.
Yeah.
Crappie or crappie?
Yeah, crappie.
Crappie.
Oh, whatever.
That's
It
what I thought,
looks like crappy to me.
Mike's from New York. They say crappie. They say crap.
Ah, bunch of crap.
Rod Lockwood's in the house. Rod, are you still in Hawaii?
Hey, Ron.
Yeah. Well, he's not here in live, but he's
No. Yeah.
Aloha.
Oh, hey.
He got some great shots of the whales breaching the
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
Yeah.
with that new camera of his. That's a great camera, boy.
Yep.
now, why didn't you go with him with your dory?
Yeah.
I was not, Gary, Gary, I was not invited.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine?
Imagine it.
Can you imagine that?
I'm taken aback. I don't understand it.
I wasn't
You're
invited
not-
either.
You're
I wasn't invited either.
Yep. He knew.
I got the new Gladius Mini, which, oh my God, it puts the dory is just wonderful because it's like just throw it in the water and go. I love that thing, honestly.
Yeah.
What's
But,
what's the new one? What's the new one?
The Gladius Mini is the 4K.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's-
Bob Schifter did a video on that, and so did Ken Dono.
It's just it's great because the waters around here, everybody thinks Florida's waters are perfectly clear.
No,
No.
We're here to tell you they're not.
no, not like the Bahamas. That's for sure.
No. And the Bahamas, as Mitch told us earlier, it's only like 80 miles away.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but it's you got the Gulf Stream in the middle, and that Gulf Stream.
Yeah.
That's why when you get down in South Florida, which is the Gulf Stream comes right to shore, you get some beautiful water coming in certain times. And then when the tide comes in, I remember going down the Intercoastal in my boat one day, and I was down at the St. Lucie Inlet,
I know where that is.
and everything had just all the gods came together, and the wind was just right, the tide was just right, and it pushed gin clear water into the inlet in the Intercoastal
Yep.
up about 5 miles. And as
Wow.
I wonder if we
here
get
I
that
am,
in the Sebastian Inlet, Mitch.
I don't know if you get it, because the Sebastian Inlet is 20 some miles from the Gulf Stream, whereas the Gulf
Yeah.
Stream comes right into shore when you get down around St. Lucie,
Okay.
West. No, this wasn't the St. Lucie Inlet. This was the Jupiter Inlet. I'm sorry. the
Oh,
Jupiter
it had
to be
Inlet, which
Jupiter,
is down
yeah.
in West Palm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water, all of a sudden, the water started to get blue and clear, and the next thing, it was gin clear, like the Bahamas. I'm
Yeah.
talking 100-foot visibility clear if you're scuba diving. It was gorgeous. I didn't want to leave, so I'm heading south, and I get to the Jupiter Inlet, and you have to, if you come to a T, and if you make a left turn, you're going out into the ocean. If you make a right turn, you're going to continue down the Intercoastal. And I made the right turn, and then I had to make a left turn back into the Intercoastal, and you could see the line in the water where the
No.
shit water south of there
Yeah,
was hitting
yeah.
this gorgeous clear water to the north, and it was like a line that somebody had drawn.
Yep.
That's like
And I didn't-
flying into New York State. As soon as
Oh.
you hit New York, it's clouds.
I lived on
No.
Long Island for 34 years. You put your hand under the water, you can't see it.
You can't see it. We went diving. You talk about really bad water. You know where Venice, Florida is?
Yeah.
It's over
But that's on
south
the
of
Gulf.
Bradenton. Yeah, south of Bradenton, north of Sarasota. And anyway, Venice has a beach. And that area of Florida is rife with fossilized shark's teeth, bones. I'm talking
All those what do they call them? Megadons?
Megadon. Yeah.
megadons. I mean, so
Mega.
way back in the 70s, when I was younger, I had a diving buddy. I was living in St. Pete at the time, and we used to drive down to Venice Beach and put on our wetsuits, put on our we had 80-pound tanks, and we used to walk out off the beach into about 10 feet of water. We'd swim out to about 10 feet of water. And in 10 feet of water with an 80-pound tank, you could stay on the bottom for 2.5, 3 hours.
Right.
Because it's, So we dive out there. We had a bag, mesh bag,
Yeah.
specimen bag, and big flashlights, because it was like ink. This water was like ink. You couldn't see your hand in front. We would walk out, and we would lay down, face down on the bottom, with our faces like 3 inches from the bottom, with the flashlight like this, and we would start sifting, finding shark's teeth. I found some shark's teeth were this big. I wish I
Wow.
knew what the hell happened to them. Mostly smaller ones, and all kinds of fossilized bones from these old creatures.
Yep.
And so here we are. I mean, you figure this is a nice beach. People come out to the beach. We go in the water. When we come out 3 hours later, nobody that was on the beach remembered us going in. So here you are, you're out there sunbathing, you've been out there for a couple hours. All of a sudden, two creatures come walking out of the ocean with masks and wetsuits. So we used to scare the crap out of people.
Did you have webbed fingers?
Oh, no,
You know-
not fingers, but we certainly had fins on. But that was wild to do that. And we collected all this stuff, and over the years, it just kind of went somewhere, and I have no idea where all that stuff ended up.
Every
But I
time
had
you
some-
move, you leave something.
We
Yeah.
had some big ass shark's teeth. Some of them were like 3 inches. I mean,
Yeah.
serious. Can only imagine what the creature that had a mouthful of them was like.
And it's
Yeah.
the same island, but their sand is so much better than here, like Clearwater Beach.
Oh, yeah.
That sand.
Jerry Calvary's here.
Hey,
Jerry.
hey,
How you doing?
Jerry.
Brent
Hey, Jerry.
Nunley's here.
Brent.
Everybody's coming and going. Ron Lockwood's here. Who
Bob,
else? Who have I
Bob.
missed? If I have missed anybody, I apologize. I get busy pushing buttons. I don't get a chance to.
Everybody's
Keep up
come
with
up
the
with
chat.
their computer for the Ken Aaron show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe how quick 2 hours goes by on these.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how that is, Art.
Once
Yeah.
you start talking, yeah,
Yeah, the first 5 minutes feels like it takes forever because I'm here by
Yeah.
myself. I got 4 people
Right.
watching. And I don't know what the hell to talk about. And then Gary came in, finally spelled me, and I.
Well, you better tune in on Sunday. It's going to be a pretty interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, plug it, Art. Tell
Yeah.
everybody because we need to get some more
I
people
wonder
over there.
What we're going to talk about. You know?
Speaking of shows,
Yeah,
what your Art's Place?
Art's
Yeah.
Place,
Yeah.
the political show
Yep.
Oh yeah.
where he and Lloyd actually say what they really think.
Yep. That's right.
Now, do you take guests in on that, Art?
Yes. Right. I could take whoever. Right now, I'm working on trying to get Congressman Ken Buck on the show, and he is on the Judiciary Committee that where they had the witnesses and all that rigmarole. And well, last night was the big vote, and every Democrat congressman in Colorado voted for impeachment.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wasting my money.
Yep. And
Oh,
what are the
It's absolutely incredible how much money they wasted and time.
Yeah.
wasted
What,
on
and
this
what
stuff.
what were the charges? Obstruction of Congress. That is so vague and broad. That can mean anything. And-
Let's not get started on this now.
Oh.
We'll be here all night. Let me answer a question. Arthur Moorhead is in the chat here, and I'm looking at Arthur's channel right now. He's an artist, and he asked how does he get into the chat. I assume you're asking Arthur how you become a panel member, and what you basically do. Email in the description of this video is my email address. It's oldguyinadrone@gmail.com, and send me your email address, and that way I can send an invite with the link to join in the chat.
There you
and
go.
We'd love to have you sometimes.
Yeah.
And then when you get the link, you'll see you just set up your camera, which camera you want to use. If
Yeah.
you,
And your
Have different-
microphone and all that jazz. Yeah.
it's not a lot to do, but just set that up ahead of time,
Yeah.
and you'll come right in.
hmm
Yeah, but we demand that you be professional on this.
I'll call myself professional when there's money in it.
Yeah.
Did I just hear something absurd? Who said that? Professional. No, this is not. I keep saying this. I'm not putting on a show here. I'm
Yeah.
just having a
Yeah. We're just a
poker,
bunch
a
of
boys'
guys.
night out, poker game
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Kind of like
going on.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's not a show. You just have a gorilla behind you.
yeah,
all
well,
you are.
I got to have some company. Arthur, good. Listen, we're going to be finished here tonight in about 10 minutes, but send me your email address. I'll put you on the list. And what I do before the show is I just send out the link to everybody.
Yep.
And anybody wants to come in can come in. I got room for 6 people. We always like to meet new people.
Yep.
Give me
Learn new things.
That's true. That's true. I can only, I mean, I do a lot of strange and crazy stuff that I'm talking about, and I don't know if anybody learns anything from it.
Not a damn
or
thing.
not, but you know, but I try. I'm having fun though. And Jim, meet
My
me at the
boss.
park one of these days so we can fly.
Nobody goes to that park, Mitch. You're the only
Well,
one.
that's
that goes
why
there.
I go there, man, because nobody goes there. It's huge. This place is huge. I took my Mavic 2 Pro down there a couple weeks ago and flew all over the whole park with it. You know, I think I showed that video.
They're
to you
closing
guys.
5 other parks in this, what they call city. 5 other parks. It's a ridiculous town to live in.
They're closing
yeah.
them right down.
Closing them down.
Well,
Yeah.
they're leaving a big one open, aren't they?
Nobody got. I don't want to talk about this.
I see some soccer. I see some kids practicing soccer out there every once in a while, and I know somebody told me on the weekends they get the teams out there. But they got a cricket field. They got
A dog walking area.
everything. I got a little seaplane, a little foamy
Yeah.
amphibious thing, electric RC, and they got beautiful retention ponds out there, more than big enough to fly this little thing off of. I'll have to bring that out there one of these days.
Film it
But,
so we can see the gator eating it.
Oh, hey, listen, that now there's a video that has a chance of going viral on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go.
An alligator ate my airplane, man. Thinking of views.
Dan had one where the alligator ate his RC boat and then spit it back out.
Yeah, I
Really?
saw that.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't imagine they taste all that good.
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad's place in Lakeland, they were having neighborhood dogs go missing, and it was a gator in the pond down at the end of the street.
Yep.
Yep. That'll happen.
Commonplace around here. They sunbathe during the day.
Yeah.
Well, around here we've got coyotes that like to snack on little doggies.
We got them here too.
Yeah, here too.
And kitties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Population
uh,
control.
when I was living on the intercoastal number of years ago, right over there on the water. Right, I had a house next to my son's house over there, and we had these birds of prey, ospreys,
Oh,
big
yeah.
hawks, and they would come along. If you had a little puppy out there, they would swoop down and grab
yeah.
this friggin' dog and off it.
Yeah.
So when my kids got their new little puppy, they had to keep an eye on that thing.
Yeah. I had a neighbor when I lived up north. His 4-year-old got dragged into the swamp by a swan. And
Those
swan?
things are vicious.
Swan, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Malamute, he had a big Alaskan Malamute. The Malamute went after the swan and rescued the kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
swans are not afraid of anything.
Nope.
Well, around here we got Canadian geese.
They're bitches too.
Yeah.
Geese are nasty in any
Yeah.
They're good
any
eating, though.
variety. They are good eating. You know, I wonder how these sand cranes taste.
I know.
Those
Yeah.
birds are so annoying.
We
Those
actually
sand
have
cranes.
we have road signs for like on what is it, NASA Boulevard there, Mitch, where it says crane crossing.
Yeah.
like it's a walkway for the bird, you know.
Crossings here.
And these birds are so noisy.
Yeah.
These big gray, and they're huge
Oh, you
too.
haven't heard the peacocks? Oh my God,
Oh boy, yeah, they can make
those
a
things
racket.
are loud.
Yeah. Well, you ought to live in the Philippines where you'll hear the roosters no matter where
Hey,
you
Art,
go.
what's
You'll hear.
this? Speaking of Philippines, Art, what's this? I wanted to talk about the Skydio too a little bit, but it's too late for that. But I read an article that expats are leaving the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I didn't read the article. I saw the headline. I didn't have a chance to read the article, but you might want to look that up. Evidently, something's going on down there that's causing expatriates to
Huh.
flee. So
Yeah,
before you think about going to the
Right when
Philippines.
Art's going there in
Yeah,
February.
exactly. Well, maybe that's why they're leaving. Maybe they heard that Art's coming.
Well, Marcos, Ferdinand Marcos, I think grandson is running for president.
Oh, jeez. Are you
Oh,
kidding?
that'd be great. That'd be great.
Well,
That'd be great.
you hear a lot of really negative stuff about Marcos, but who's the one that's putting that out there? It's the liberal media and historians.
Well, what about Imelda?
Well, I mean, she bought a bunch of shoes. So
Bought a bunch of shoes, 3,000 pairs of shoes. You know?
shoes. But I'm
I
gonna
mean, who doesn't buy 3,000 pairs of shoes?
there you go.
That's
He's
true. That's true.
billions of dollars, you could be thrifty,
You look in any guy's closet. He's got a pair of sneakers, something comfortable to kick around the house, and maybe a pair of good dress shoes.
Yeah. And they're usually 30 years old, some of these shoes.
Yep.
In fact, that's one of my favorite lines when I see somebody young. They say, well, I'm 28. I go, I got shoes older than you.
Yeah.
Now, back to the geese.
Back to the geese. Okay.
Back to the geese.
The geese. Now, they fly in a V. Do you know why one side is longer than the other side?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you know why?
Yes.
Oh,
See? They fly like this.
But do you know why one side is longer than the other?
I don't know that.
Because there's more geese on that side.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's true.
I knew this couldn't be real
Come
because
here.
I was wondering how
Somebody-
they knew. Did
Mike.
somebody ask the goose?
Reach down and slap him, Mike.
Oh,
Okay, Arthur, I'll check that after the show and I'll throw you on the list and
Okay.
we'll
Arthur.
see. Not you, no, different Arthur, another Arthur, Art
Yeah.
Moorhead, and we'll meet you and talk to you next week.
Okay.
Art, you better hit the road.
Run. Time to run.
Time to run.
Yeah.
Can't
Art.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, we love busting on you, Art.
All right. Well, you guys.
Wait a minute. Let me make you big. Say goodbye.
You still got 4 minutes, Art. Where you going?
Nah, he's got to get ready.
Yeah. Well, everybody.
I'm about ready to shut it down anyway. But
Yeah. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you all next time. Hope you get all the drones that you want.
okay, Art.
Okay,
Yeah.
Art. Merry Christmas, Art.
I want underwater drones. even.
Wait a minute. Okay, now. There he is. Okay, what timing that was, huh?
You know, I don't want any drones for Christmas. If I
No.
hear one more video on the
Mini.
Skydio 2 or
The
the
Mavic,
Mavic
yeah.
Mini, I'm gonna blow up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, how many drones do we need?
No, and
Yep.
you know what? I'm probably I haven't gotten it yet, but I am leaning towards not buying the Skydio after watching a lot of these videos the guys have put out. And one video, I just want to say this before we shut down. The one video that scared me the most was Billy Kyle's video, where this thing took off by the river and flew up over the bridge and over traffic
Oh,
to
jeez.
catch
Yeah.
up with him on the other side. And I'm saying to myself, I know this drone doesn't have a Part 107. It's just broken every law in the FAA rule book.
And Billy Kyle
and
has
who's
the Part
and
107.
who's going to be responsible when somebody complains? And and basically that's one of the problems with an autonomous.
he's on a
Drone.
board. The thing's behind him. He can't see it.
Right.
Yeah,
Not right.
exactly.
Where's
And
line of
that's kind of
sight?
scary that the drone can do something to get you thrown in jail.
But Billy was asking an awful lot out of that drone in that environment he was in, you know, to decide to go under the bridge or over the bridge, and
Yeah. No, I
there
understand.
was obstacles everywhere, you know.
I saw that guy's video where it actually stopped when he was between the guy was between the trees, and it saw the trees and it stopped.
Right.
That was the guy on the bicycle and all that.
Yeah. And
Well, I've been rethinking it. I don't have to make the decision. I got 10 days from the time they send me the letter. But I keep thinking to myself, I got all this crap to fly, and I don't fly half of it because I don't. There's just not, the weather's or whatever. Do I really need that
No.
thing? And the answer is a qualified no. So
At this point, something would have to have some kind of leap of technology that you know what I mean? We've all got our baseline of drones. Like Mike said, do I need another one? No.
yeah.
I don't use all
Anyway,
the pictures I got now.
Right.
I don't use Follow Me.
No.
I never do. And for
Nobody
the one
would
thing I
anyway,
wanted to do
Gary.
on a motorcycle, I don't need to spend $1,500 on a drone.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll leave it at that, guys. I wanted to mention that. Say goodnight to Peter Carroll, and
He's in
Ron
Australia,
Lockwood
right?
has left, and I think we got 14 people hanging around yet, but I think that it's 8:00, and I'm going to say goodnight to each of you guys one
Hey,
at a
there's
time.
Bill, Coast to Coast Drones. Bill
Oh,
Thomas.
hey, Bill,
Hey,
how
Bill.
you doing? You got here just in time to say goodnight. You were probably looking for Ken Hearn and clicked on me. By
No, he
mistake.
was
But
he was looking for something different than that.
So at any rate, Jim, take it easy, buddy.
Good night, buddy.
I'll
Good to
see
see you,
you
Jim.
the next time.
Night,
and,
Mikey, Gary.
All right, buddy. Take care.
See you
And
over at
Mike
the-
Roche.
We'll see you over on the other side.
Yeah, I'll see you at the Ken Heron show.
Okay.
And,
All right.
so I'll
Thanks for
try and
coming
get
in.
myself the right color eventually.
Yeah. Get flesh colored the next time, Mike.
Right.
I'm out of here.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. And first in, last out.
Bye.
Philo. Okay, Gary, take care, buddy. And thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. I think I had a good time tonight, and time for Ken Heron and a nice cigar. I think it's about 65, 70 degrees outside right now. Thanks for coming in. Bill Thomas, come in earlier next time. Bob Casey, thanks for coming and sticking through the show. Peter's gone. Arthur Moorhead, our new friend, thank you for coming in, and hopefully we'll get to meet you next week. And drone shots of Jody, if you're still here, always appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little music like I normally do. There we go. Tell you guys to take the rest of the day off. Go play with your drones. Everybody, in case I don't see you in some of the other chat rooms, have a great holiday, man. Have a great holiday, a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Be careful. Alka-Seltzer on the other side for all the eating we're going to do, and the New Year's resolution to lose some weight right around the corner. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my sidekick here. Spank, say goodnight to everybody.